Hi, I'm Aglaée, but most people call me AJ. In 2011, I was diagnosed with IBS, SIBO, and PCOS all within a few months. That's a whole bunch of letters that basically made me feel pretty awful and miserable. IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, and SIBO stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Both are very common digestive issues that don't get talked about enough. I was blessed with a pretty strong digestive system my whole life, but it took a wrong turn after catching a parasite infection in the Peruvian jungle. My whole life started to revolve around my bowels. I was bloated almost all day long to the point of looking 6 or 7 months pregnant. I felt very uncomfortable. I dealt with almost daily cramping, and I developed a love-hate relationship with my toilet. And on top of that, SIBO is usually not a condition that affects only the gut, but it also has side effects elsewhere in the body. And for me, it meant a lot of insomnia, skin issues, depression, and just feeling so exhausted all the time. And then the PCOS part was more about my hormones. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's one of the most common female hormonal disorders and the #1 cause of infertility. There are now studies showing that it might even be an autoimmune condition. And for me, it meant not having a regular period and sometimes not at all for months, and then fearing that I wouldn't be able to be a mom. And to put it mildly, I was not having a good time. And I felt really betrayed by all the years of trying to eat healthy. As a dietitian, I knew that food had to be part of the solution, despite doctors telling me that food didn't have anything to do with it. And even if my training as a registered dietitian taught me nothing about these three different conditions. So I started doing my own research and found out about the different options like the SUD diet, the GAPS diet, low FODMAP, gluten-free, paleo, etc. And because I really wanted to feel better, and also because I might be a bit of an overachiever, I decided that I might as well combine them all together. More is better, right? And I even thought I should restrict my calories a little in the hopes of losing some weight at the same time. Weight is something I've struggled with since I was a teenager, and I was really hoping that adopting a really drastic approach with my diet would help me heal my gut and fix everything else that was wrong with me at the same time. But the thing is that although I strongly believe in the power of food as medicine, it's not that simple. And there's one thing you should know about me that I would never ever have dared to say out loud back then. I ate my emotions. I binged. I had to fight impossible to resist cravings all day long. And I lost the battle more times than I can keep track of. I went crazy with food and felt completely out of control. I was well educated. I knew what I should be doing. I kept trying to do it, but I kept failing over and over again. So not only did I feel horrible physically, but my mental health was also starting to suffer. I would ask myself, what is wrong with you? You'll never get healthier. You'll never lose weight. I knew you couldn't do it. You're such a failure. Why are you always speaking out like that? You're so out of control. Get a hold of yourself. And on and on and on for the better part of the day and sometimes at night too. Can you relate to any of this? I cannot be the only one. I cannot. I was so ashamed though that I wouldn't tell anyone. You see, I really did think I was the only one in the whole world being so crazy around food, and I never ever considered asking for help. I thought I just had to try harder. Fast forward a few years later, I was able to heal my gut and regain my digestive health. I was able to balance my hormones to optimize my fertility despite having PCOS. And I was blessed with a healthy son almost 3 years ago now. But you know what? My healing journey wasn't only about following a diet and calling it a day. It went so much deeper than that. You see, with all the work I do with clients wanting to use food as medicine to heal themselves, I noticed that there are two types of people. The first type is the type that, is recommended the diet and just follows it. No questions asked, no problem. They just do it. I'm always baffled by this because this is not me. And if you're still listening, you're probably more like me and the second type of people I work with. This type has a more complicated relationship with food, let's say. If it's your type, you feel afraid of giving up certain foods. You are also afraid that you have never been able to stick to any sort of diets in the past and fear that you will fail at this too. You have strong cravings that are very hard, if not impossible, to resist. You probably also find yourself in a bag of cookies or potato chips when you feel sad or angry, as if you were on autopilot. And then you feel very guilty when you find yourself halfway through that bag and you decide you might as well eat it all now and start fresh tomorrow or next Monday or next month. Can you feel the weight of all of that on your shoulders? I certainly can. And you know as well as I do that when your relationship with food is complicated, like it was for me, the self-sabotage causes so many setbacks with the physical part of your healing, and it messes up with your mental health too. And if that wasn't enough, all the fear and negative self-talk are huge stressors, and they directly hinder your digestion and your healing journey. This is not woo-woo at all, although I really do like this kind of stuff, but this is really proved by science and things like the gut-brain axis, as well as the activation of the sympathetic nervous system, aka the fight, flight, or freeze response that interferes with both your digestion and your healing. So those are definitely not ingredients you want to add to your healing protocol, whether you have digestive or hormonal issues or any other kind of health issues for that matter. So how did I heal my health issues and my food issues? It was definitely a combination of things, but it had to start not with my body, but with my mind and my heart. I didn't really know what I was doing back then, but I slowly started to learn how to nourish my mind with positive thoughts and belief. It started with becoming more aware of these negative thoughts when they would creep their way back into my head. Instead of having them run on autopilot like a broken record all day long, I tried to catch the negative self-talk and say, whoa, that's not mine. I don't want to be listening to this. And I changed the radio station to a more wise and healing one that would say things like, I've got this. I know I can do it. I am healing. This meal is full of nutrients that are going to heal my body from the inside out. I trust the journey. I trust my body. And other similar mantras that I would change, depending on what I thought I would need to hear the most that day. And maybe, I don't know if you know the difference between an affirmation and a mantra, but the main difference is that with an affirmation, you might not really believe it. With a mantra, it's all about the feeling that it generates. And that's what makes it so powerful, much more powerful than affirmation. So make sure you find a mantra that speaks to you and your heart directly. That's what is going to make it a very, very powerful help on your healing journey. I also see so many people spending hours every day on forums and Facebook groups. I was one of them, trying to find the magical answer to their health issues. And I think this does a lot of good because we can learn some key information and connect with others that can truly understand what we're going through. Because most people around us in our life may not understand, may not have a clue. But the thing is that those groups can be a very negative environment. It's like constantly bathing yourself in negativity, worry, doubt, and fear. Limiting this time to make more room for positive and healing energy made a big difference for me. Then the next step, I also learned how to nourish my heart with positive emotions and even dreams. This meant feeling gratitude for the food I was able to eat and that was healing my body. feeling gratitude for the farmers that made this beautiful food available to me, feeling gratitude for all the parts of me that were working well at the time, even though I was feeling sick, feeling gratitude for nature and its wisdom, feeling gratitude for the connections I had in my life, and also daring to dream. When you feel sick, you can start feeling helpless and hopeless and like a victim. But this should make a big alarm, like a red alarm go off, beep, 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 danger. Because it is a very dangerous zone when you feel stuck and you're not able to move forward when you're stuck in that victim mentality. So our mind and heart are just such an important part of the healing process. To help me with that, I started daring to dream, making plans and just visualizing my life once I would start feeling better, the things I would do, the place I would travel to, how it would feel not to feel like you have to have a bathroom within 100 feet of you at all times, And dreaming generated so many positive emotions that I'm sure contributed to the healing process. And also knowing and trusting that it was possible for me to get there and that it was only a matter of time was a key part of the journey for me. And then I also learned how to better nourish my body with love and respect rather than making my food decisions based on toxic ingredients like fear, guilt, and shame. This meant definitely taking the weight off the equation and not limiting my calories. Healing takes a lot of energy, and I learned how to better trust my body's hunger and fullness signals instead of trying to rely on some external schedule or our meal plan. I started to see my body as an ally instead of the enemy. And again, mantras like, I trust the journey. I trust my body. My body is healing are just very helpful to repeat throughout the day. Just let that sink in and become part of each and every one of your cells. And all the rest started to follow and unfold in its own time until I was healed. And if I did it, so can you. So my name is Aglaée Jacob, but you can call me AJ. I'm a non-diet dietitian, a heart and soul nutritionist, and a self-love guide. My mission is to help women feel nourished in their body, mind, heart, and soul so they can heal their complicated relationship with food, their health issues, and move on with their life. I founded Radicata Nutrition. Radicata comes from Latin and means roots. And in 2013, I also published my book, Digestive Health with Real Food. And since then, I've helped clients from all around the world get to the root of their health and food issues. I offer one-on-one coaching as well as group classes for people like you and me feeling crazy and out of control with food and needing to change their diet to improve their health. I invite you to go to radicatanutrition.com to get your free gift. I made for you a questionnaire allowing you to rate how nourished you are at all of these different levels, including your body, your mind, and your heart. So you can then see where you should focus on to get to the root of the problem instead of constantly trying to get back on track without digging deeper, because that's where the magic lies. So I'm sending you lots of healing thoughts, and I hope to talk to you soon and wish you all the best on your healing journey.